Hey everybody, it's Elliott, and welcome back to the channel. So today I wanted to give you like an easy 1, 2, 3 to start making some jazz chords. I'll be doing it in the keys of C and G. C from here. So like position 2 from the cage system, and G from here. So position 4 from the cage system. So today I'll be using my Telecaster style Har guitar. And there's some people that still don't think like that these kinds of instruments should be used in jazz. They think everything should be like a short scale double humbucker guitar, but they're probably not here today, so it's just us. I will be using the neck pickup and turning the tone back a little, however, to get a warmer sound. So here we start with a C triad. We could easily just make that a major 7 and call it quits. That sounds nice, but I would try to say, hey, let's give a shot to moving the third below and making this voicing, which is a major 7 add 9. Quite nice, quite a bit more jazzy. Next up we have D minor, which we would easily just make a minor 7, and that would be fine, but I might say let's do exactly what we just did with the C and move the third below and add the 9 on top. Quite a jazzier chord. With this chord too, I might suggest having the option of putting the 5th in the bass. I think it's kind of nice, and I think it leads nicely in this scenario to G7 right here. Also, for instance, say you're vamping on D minor, you might want to throw in a 13. Or a natural 6, however you might say it. But I might only do that with vamping. It depends on what chord comes next, honestly, because this sounds an awful lot like this. Or at least there's not that much of a difference versus... that sounds like a bit more motion is happening versus... So, yeah, depends on what chord comes next. Chord number 3 is E minor. Here we can just make it a minor 7. I wouldn't add like the flat 9 up top, but you could add the flat 13, I suppose, and could make it a sus chord with a flat 13, so a big 4th stack. But I might just keep it a minor 7. Maybe I would put the flat 13 down here if I wanted to be really pretty about it, but usually not. Next up is the 4th chord, which is F in this scenario, and here you could do everything that we just did with C a while ago. But you might want to add the sharp 4, which is right here. And if you want a close together voicing, like here it's like 8, 9, 9, 10, all in the middle. I might not like hit this chord too dramatically just because of the tritone in the lower part. It's a little intense. As a whole experience though, not so bad. After that we have the 5th chord, which is G. Here we'd obviously make it a dominant 7. And then I might honestly do what we did with the C, the D minor, and the F, and put the 3rd below and the 9 on top. Maybe the 5th below as well, or the 5th on bottom. Here though, we could also flatten our ring finger, get a much more chimey sound. And if you end on that chord, it's really nice to, and you're playing a Tele or Tele style guitar, to work the tone knob like this. I think it sounds kind of fun. Next up we have A minor, the 6th chord. Here I might just make it a minor 7. Or we could do what we did with D minor, make it a minor 9. Or we could do what we did for a second with E minor and make it a bunch of 4ths. 4th, 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 4th. Both are up to you. That's kind of at your discretion on this one. For the last one, I'm actually going to go down here, and it's a B diminished triad with a minor 7, so B half diminished. I could add the 4, which I could do here with an open string, or I could do kind of like a slidey. It's kind of up to you on that one. The half whole diminished kind of already sounds jazzy, honestly. Like, it's not a lot of genres that use that and like sit on it, so I think you might be safe there. And now to the key of G, where we find out that the positions that you use make a whole lot of difference. So here we have a G major triad, and we could just make it a major 7. And I might just do that because if I use that same 7 add 9 thing, with the 5th on top, it just feels like a D with a G in the bass. You know, it doesn't really feel like you're settled for some reason. So in this position, maybe not. You can put the 9 on top, way over top, you know. And then that feels more like home. But you could do instead of a major 7, if you wanted something different, you could do a 6/9, which is like a really nice, especially if you end like, you know, one of those voicings. So like 3 skip 2 2 3 in this scenario, or a regular 6 chord. So quite a lot of options, like lot to choose from. Next up we have the 2 chord, which is A minor in this scenario. Obviously we make it a minor 7. And now we can add the 13 or natural 6 up top, which kind of sounds like a small boat lost at sea or something. Or we can add that below, which to me doesn't sound like someone lost at sea, but sounds kind of like murder mystery-ish. You could also add the 9 on top, but you know, if someone's soloing or someone's playing piano, you're kind of getting into their area, like quite a bit. So next up we have the 3 chord, which is B minor. I'd make it a minor 7. Again, I wouldn't use the flat 9 in this kind of thing. I might use the flat 13. Sounds nice, but it doesn't really sound like the chord it's supposed to be when I do that. So I might just keep it a minor 7. You know, the 3 chord, I don't know. I gotta think of other things for that. So next up we have the 4 chord, which in this case is C. And we can do everything that we did on their G chord. We can take the triad and make it a major 7 chord, make it a 6 chord, make it a 6/9 chord, make it a major 7 chord with a 9 way up top. But I might want to add the sharp 4. Here I could do that just from the triad and then flattening the 5. Sounds quite nice, but I might want to put a major 7 in there, so I would take that same major 7 voicing. I could take that 6 voicing, and I'm flattening my index finger to get that sharp 4. And that's quite a bit more rich. Here I wouldn't use the flat 4, the sharp. Here I wouldn't use the sharp 4 on bottom, because that's pretty intense. And while this is cool, pretty neat, it's a bit dense if there's like anybody else playing. But, you know, I guess if you're playing by yourself or just a singer, maybe. But if there's a piano player and like another guitar player, probably not. It's quite a bit dense. Next up is the 5 chord, which in this case is D. We would obviously make it a dominant 7. We could make it a 9 with no 3rd, or just a regular dominant 7. I wouldn't use the 6th chord that we used for C and G, because I'd be missing that flat 7. So I might put it up top. Here we get kind of a nice, you know, almost fancy sounding D dominant 7. Now being a D13 chord. From here though, it's really easy to get to your 3rd. Put that as your bass note, so we'll put F sharp as our bass note. The flat 7, the 9, so we don't repeat the 3rd, and then the 5th on top. So it would be 3rd, flat 7, 9, 5th. And you see we have an F sharp half diminished chord. Don't forget it's really a D7 in disguise though. That would sound quite nice coming from like A minor. Very, very colorful voicings. Next up we have the 6th chord, which is E minor. I would make it a minor 7 immediately. And I could put the 9 on top. You know, sounds almost mysterious, sounds pretty cool. I could put it beneath. But, you know, that's a pretty dramatic one to end on, maybe, but not just, you know, depending. It's pretty dense, but this, it's quite nice. For the last chord, I'm going to move down here again, and we're going to start with an F sharp diminished triad, and then put the flat 7 in, and we end up with an F sharp half diminished chord. Now you could put the 4 in and use your thumb, or do this kind of a thing. Not super fun. I might just keep it basic. Or not keep that bass note here and just go. Sounds quite nice. So I hope you have some fun making some of these chords, and just know that you can also just roll your tone up, maybe add some open strings. You know, it doesn't have to be jazz. Only you can make it jazz. Thanks very much for watching, and thanks for dropping by the channel where we're excited about guitar.